Are we live?
I believe so.
Yes. You must be live. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the organizational meeting of the German Township Trustees to order. If you will please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. For those who may not know me, I think you all do, I'm Mark Stan. I'm the fiscal officer for German Township, and we're going to call the roll. Trustee Reed? Here. Trustee Raymert? Here. And Trustee Stubbs? Here. All are present. Before we get into tonight's business, are there any visitor comments? Either raise your hand if you have a picture, or put something in the chat, or somehow let Haley know to unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. You seeing anybody, Mrs. Sewell?
You're not seeing anybody. I can go ahead and unmute, send the request to unmute the people, I believe. Looks like there's only one.
Somebody unmuting, did you say? No? Okay. Last call for any visitor comments. I see we have someone just joining us. Does any visitor wish to make any comments tonight? All right, very good. Moving on, we'll start out with the election of the trustee officers. The first thing I'd like to do is ask for a motion to elect the president of the Board of Trustees. Someone like to make a motion?
From my experience, let me know, is this supposed to rotate, or is it completely up to us? People can be in the same position again, or?
It's up to us.
Completely. Yeah. I don't have a strong feeling. I feel like we all can contribute from their positions. So.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll make a motion to nominate Tyler Raymert for president.
Is there
a second?
There's a second. Any discussion of the motion to elect Mr. Raymert as president of the Board of Trustees? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And what I forgot to do was close the nominations, but there were no other, I assume there were no other nominations, so we'll just bypass that. Okay, now we need to elect a vice president. Could I have a motion to nominate a candidate for vice president of the Board of Trustees? Somebody want to make a motion?
I feel like this shouldn't be that difficult. I don't, like I said, I don't think it matters significantly. Jake was vice president last year, so I'll nominate Adler to be vice president.
Is there a second to the motion to elect Mrs. Reed as vice president of the board? I'll remind you, you can second your own motion.
I guess I will second it wasn't my motion, but that motion.
Any discussion of, well, okay, before I do that, are there any other nominations for vice president?
No.
All right, could I have a motion to close the nominations?
Yeah, I'll motion to close.
Could I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor of closing the nominations?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we have the motion to elect. Any discussion before we vote on that? Hearing none, all in favor of electing Mrs. Reed as the vice president?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were doing it as a lump sum. I was waiting for the next.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion is approved. Okay, moving on. We'll do one motion for the next group. These are the trustee appointments for 2021. We have 9 different entities, and I will tell you who the 2020 representative was for each of these. The first one is the police commissioner. Last year it was Mr. Stubbs. You wish to continue?
I would like to continue.
The road commissioner, last year was Mrs. Reed. Would you like to continue?
Yes.
The zoning commissioner, last year was Mr. Raymert. Would you like to continue?
Yes.
The Parks Oversight Board, last year was Mr. Raymert. Would you like to continue that?
Yes.
The Fire Oversight Board, last year was Mrs. Reed. Would you like to continue that?
Yes.
The Germantown Union Cemetery Board, last year was Mr. Stubbs.
Yes.
The Senior Citizens Oversight Board, last year was Mrs. Reed. Would you like to continue again?
Yes.
The Pool Oversight Board, last year was Mr. Stubbs. Would you like to continue again?
Yes.
And the Western Regional Council of Governments, last year was you, Mr. Stubbs.
Yeah, we only meet very, very rarely, so that's not a big deal at all. So yes, I would like to keep that if possible.
So I'm not hearing any requested changes. So if there is no changes that anybody wants, could I have a motion to approve all of these appointments?
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. The next motion will be to appoint the health insurance coordinator. Of course, in 2020, that was Mrs. Rohrbach, who has retired. Mrs. Shauna Close has replaced her in her position, well, somewhat in her position, slightly different title, but I would like to recommend that she be approved and appointed as the health insurance coordinator. I could have a motion for that.
So moved.
And could I have a second?
I will second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Very good, thank you. That motion is approved. The next motion will be to appoint purchasing agents, and we will do one motion for all of these. I'm not recommending any changes from last year. The Road and Service Department was Mr. Holbrook. The Police Department was Chief Anzik. The Zoning was Mrs. Sewell. And for the Trash District, Mrs. Close, who will be taking that position, she took that position effective January 1st. Could I have a motion to approve all of those?
So moved.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is a motion to approve, if needed, any oversight committee appointments. I checked with the city today. There are none that have expired at the end of 2020. The fire oversight, the pool oversight, the senior citizen oversight, and the parks oversight boards have no expiring terms. However, the city has asked me to announce to all of our citizens that there is an opening on the Senior Center Oversight Board and also an opening on the Parks Board. If anyone is interested in serving, please let any trustee know, and we will coordinate with the city and probably get that approved.
Can I add one for you that I overlooked? It's for the, cemetery. John Skapiak was fulfilling the unexpired term of Gene Wright. And Mr. Skapiak called me today to let me know that his term expired on December 31st and has asked to come back. So I'd like to add that to this, if possible, to bring back Mr. Skapiak to the cemetery as the at-large member.
How long is that term, Mr. Stubbs?
4 years, I believe. And yeah, like I said, he finished Gene Wright resigned, and so John didn't get a full term. That's where the error came with in this. Yeah, he had the letter he found apparently past weekend. So I'd like to can I make a motion now?
Absolutely.
To reappoint John Skapiak to the cemetery board.
Does that appointment also need to go through the city council?
Yes.
I will let the city know that they need to approve. They're meeting tonight, so their approval probably won't come until February,
Okay.
next meeting.
Okay.
But sorry that I missed that one.
No, John called me a couple hours ago, and it totally missed me because of the unexpired term. So.
Very good. So there's a motion to appoint John Skapiak for a 4-year term on the cemetery board. We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. That motion is approved. The next item is to discuss our meeting schedule for 2021. As you know, in 2020 and probably for many years, we met on the second Monday of each month. I think, and then we had work sessions and special meetings that were announced as needed. I think you're all aware that I am the secretary of the Germantown Lions Club, which also meets on the second Monday. And so I've had to miss those meetings. And if we continue with this same Monday night, second Monday, I will continue to miss those meetings. If you're open to changing to a different night, I would appreciate that.
We avoid the first Monday because of, Germantown, or is there a specific reason you do that?
Well, I think it's in the middle of the month for Bill's purposes, isn't it? Why we typically meet towards the middle of the month.
What I do is I give you the financial statement through the end of the month, and then you approve all the bills for the prior month. Now, if the first Monday fell on the first, I would probably have to do a little scrambling, but I would make it happen.
Could we do like the second Tuesday instead of the second Monday?
I think we need to keep it on Mondays if possible.
We used to do the second and fourth when we had 2 meetings a month.
We can't probably wait till the fourth, I would imagine.
Once you get out of that first cycle, I'm just asking, do you think it would matter?
I don't.
No, it'd be a long stretch for the first one to get to that fourth Monday, but once you got there,
Yeah,
I'm just asking, you know, it's work to do whatever they want. I just thought,
I'd like to keep it on Mondays if possible. I coach football, that's on Wednesdays. I coach track, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays typically.
Yeah, the
So-
first Monday is rough for me, obviously.
So what that also does is that doesn't allow the council people from Germantown to ever attend one of our meetings or us to attend one of theirs. My personal problem is Lions is second and fourth Monday, and I've been the treasurer of the Historical Society for 30-some years, and we meet on the third Monday. So
Your Mondays are pretty.
Mondays are not good except for the first one for me. I know that we've been using Wednesday for our JED meetings.
I absolutely can't do Wednesdays, August, September, October, and part of November. So I absolutely can't do that.
Wednesdays are totally out, so Tuesdays are out as well, Mr. Stubbs.
Well, in the spring, I coach girls track. The meets have been on Tuesdays and Thursdays. In the fall, I coach junior high football, and those games are always on Wednesdays. So.
Are you looking at Thursday? Or is the Thursday out too?
Tuesday,
Sorry.
Thursday,
Okay, sorry.
That's why, I mean, Monday, my thing is, we all knew when the meetings were. They've been that way for a decade, at least. And when I first came on, I was in a volleyball league for 5 years. I missed one game a month. I had to miss it. We played in Miamisburg. I missed a game. I was the captain. It was my team. I missed a game a month. I just skipped.
What's the third Monday? That's you.
Historical Society.
My historical
Okay.
society.
We haven't talked fourth Monday.
Yeah, he said he
Well,
can't.
second and fourth is Lions Club. Really, the
Monday's the best night.
first Monday is rough for me because my husband's on council, so that means I have to get a babysitter every Monday. It's the only night they meet, so kind of rough for me.
If that's difficult, then I think we should just stick with what we have currently. It would be the second Monday, and I will just miss Lions, as Mr. Stubbs pointed out. When I ran for this job, I knew the night you met.
Well, I hate it.
And so that's okay.
But, I mean, once we start moving everybody's schedules, it's gonna mess up other oversight meetings we have too. They're already pre-scheduled. So I would prefer to do the same if possible. And we've got quite the following, as you can see on the screen, with everyone that's on the meeting tonight. People know when our meetings are, and they've been that way for a long time.
And I would propose we stick with the second Monday, except on those months where the second Monday is a holiday, and that is typically October and maybe November, which would be either Veterans Day or Columbus Day. Those tend to be the months where second Monday can sometimes be a holiday, but otherwise second Monday. And if that works for you, I would like a motion to make that change, or to keep that schedule for 2021.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's approved. We will continue to meet on the second Monday.
Would you like me to announce the date?
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like to do that for me, since you have a calendar right in front of you?
Yeah. So we will be here next Monday, January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, May 10th, June 14th, July 12th, August 9th, September 13th, October 11th is Columbus Day, so we will meet on the 12th. November 8th,
That's not Veterans Day then, I assume?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Veterans Day is the 11th.
I guess it always is,
Thursday.
yeah.
And December 13th.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. We have a series of resolutions you're going to vote on. The first one deals with the salaries of the elected officials. Resolution 2021-01 would maintain the salaries of the Board of Trustees and the fiscal officer at the same rate as it was in 2020. This rate represents a 25% reduction for the trustees from the annualized amount allowable under the Ohio Revised Code, and the fiscal officer would be at 100%.
Are you ready?
Sure.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-1, resolution to maintain the salaries of the German Township Board of Trustees and the fiscal officer at the same rate as 2020, a 25% reduction for the trustees and full amount for the fiscal officer.
I will second that.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-01? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2021-02 will increase the salaries of the road and service department personnel, the police department personnel, the trash clerk, and the zoning inspector by 2% starting January 1st of this year. And we discussed those 2% increases at our budget meeting last week.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-02, to increase the salaries of the road and service department personnel and the police department personnel, the trash clerk, and the zoning inspector by 2%.
I will
Go
Sorry,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
will second that.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-02? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
And Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2021-02 is adopted. The next resolution, 2021-03, authorizes me as fiscal officer to establish our 2021 permanent appropriations. Those will total $3,251,237. And those appropriations are not to exceed the amounts of the 2021 official certificate of estimated resources, which we will receive from the Montgomery County Auditor. And the total of those resolutions exactly equals the budgets that we reviewed last week at the budget meeting.
Can I ask a question real quick? And I don't know if this is the appropriate time, so please tell me if it's not. My only question, or my main question yesterday, or at the budget meeting, was about the chairs, and I did not hear back. Do you know any answer about the chairs?
Actually, I was even researching it today, even up till 5 o'clock or
Is
so.
this the right time, Mr. Houston? Is this the time when I would ask this question? Okay, thank you.
Perfect, absolutely.
I did look into it. I think what happened is it was padded. Most of the stuff I was looking at online was probably in the $200 to $400 range. So I'm sure that it was put at $800 so that we didn't spend over. You know, if we put it for $250 a chair and then we spent $350, we look bad. I think it was put up there to $800. But most of the things I've looked at and plan on buying, I'm not a spendy guy. Would be considerably lower than that $800. So.
Okay, I just hadn't heard back, and I just wanted to check on that since that was my question last time. Okay, thank you.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-03, authorizing the fiscal officer to establish the 21 permanent appropriations of $3.2 million.
A second.
Is there any other discussion of the appropriation resolution 2020-03? I think that question came up, and there was another question that was brought up at the meeting. I can't recall what it was when we looked at the budget.
I know we had talked about discussing at the regular meeting the cost, the average cost. I don't know if that's what you're.
Maybe what I'm remembering. We can do that at any point. And if so, we amend the appropriation for that purpose. So, okay, if there's no further discussion, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Resolution 2021-03 is adopted. Resolution 2021-04 will continue the existing employee benefits for 2021, including the health insurance HRA program for all full-time employees. We've not made any changes. You already approved a couple months ago the increase in the health benefit program. The vision and the dental rates did not change this year.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-04 to continue the existing benefits for health insurance HRA program.
Second.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-04? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Resolution 2021-04 is adopted. The next resolution, 2021-05, will continue these following rates for 2021. $1 a year for the Reserve Police Officer Honorarium, and $15 per meeting expense reimbursement for regular and alternate members of the Zoning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. Both of those rates are the same as they were in 2020.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-05, a resolution to continue the rates as you just mentioned.
Second.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-05? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2021-05 is adopted. Resolution 2021-06 will be to allocate our 2021 trustee and fiscal officer salaries to various funds to reflect the amount of time each elected official spends on behalf of those funds. And I will tell you what we did in 2020. Mrs. Reed in 2020 was half in the general fund, half in the gasoline tax fund. That's due to her position as road commissioner. Mr. Stubbs was 40% to the general fund, 50% to the police district fund, and 10% to the garbage and waste fund, and that reflects his position as police commissioner. Mr. Raymert, first it was Mr. Burns and now Mr. Raymert, are 100% to the general fund because the zoning department is in the general fund. And the fiscal officer, Mr. Keener, and now myself, 40% last year to the general fund, 25% to the gasoline tax fund, 25% to the police district fund, and 10% to the garbage and waste fund. Is there any changes you would like to see made to those in 2021?
No changes, but just one comment that the 10% for mine was from the garbage and waste is because I'm the WRCG, which is the Rumpke continual contract, so that's why the 10% comes out of that portion, just for your knowledge. So I don't see any changes that need to be made.
Anything? So I have
I'll introduce resolution 2021-06, a resolution to allocate the 2021 trustee and fiscal officer salaries from the previously mentioned percentages.
there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-06? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
And Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Resolution 2021-06 is adopted. Our next resolution, 2021-07, will authorize me to continue using direct deposit for employees and to authorize payment of payroll withholdings and other vendor payments by electronic transfer during 2021.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-07, a resolution to continue the direct deposit for employees and authorize payments of payroll withholdings and other vendor payments by electronic transfer during 2021.
I will second.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-07? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
And Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2021-07 is adopted. Our last resolution is 2021-08, and that it will authorize me to continue to transfer interest received from First National Bank Germantown as well as Star Ohio from the general fund to all the other funds based on their pro rata month-end fund balances.
I'll introduce resolution 2021-08, a resolution to continue the transfer of interest monthly from the general fund to all other funds based on their pro rata month-end fund balance.
Any discussion of resolution 2021-08? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Raymert?
Yes.
And Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Resolution 2021-08 is adopted. This next one will be a motion, and it will be a motion to approve the 15th and the last day of the month, or if either fall on a weekend or holiday, using the last business day prior as payday for the employees of German Township during 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Any discussion of the motion on pay dates for employees? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Our final motion, that I have anyway, is to approve appointments to the Reserve Police Officer Memorial Fund Board for 2021. And I spoke to Lynn Cleveland, who serves as chairperson of this board earlier today, or no, I guess it was maybe yesterday, I don't know. And he told me that these positions on this board are one-year terms. So last year, the citizen representative was Mr. Cleveland, who served as chairperson. The elected official representatives, and there were two, one was Mrs. Reed, the second was first Mr. Keener, and then myself, as serving as secretary. And the two reserve officer members of this board were Josh Nichols and Muyad Shoke. Thank you. I always struggle.
That's all right.
Chief Antic, do you want any changes
No, I
to your
think
officers?
and I didn't have a chance to speak with either one of them, but both of them would love to serve in that capacity in hopes that they wouldn't have to serve, but
Also,
should the need arise.
I did speak with, David Garone today, because Lynn hasn't been at a meeting recently. I wasn't sure he was gonna be around, and I spoke to, David about taking that, position as the citizen at large, and he was willing to accept it, so I see Lynn's on the meeting tonight, but I'd like to go ahead and make it, David Garone as the citizen, if possible.
I don't know that you can't.
Well, we can definitely do it. Like I said, I haven't heard from Lynn in a while. I spoke with David today, and he was interested and willing to do it, so I would like to recommend that David Garone be the citizen, at large for this board.
Everybody,
Any
this
thoughts
is,
on placement of
this is
Mr.
Lance.
Cleveland with Mr. Jerome?
I have no problem with that.
And Mr. Cleveland speaking?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it is, and I have no problem with that. Thank you, David.
Hey,
Okay.
Glenn, thanks for getting that started for us. 'Cause you were from the beginning. I appreciate it.
If I can jump in, this is Mark
This is-
Keener, 7865 Jamaica Road. Lynn, I just want to thank you for your years of doing that. You really jumped in and got into the nuts and bolts and all the details of that. And I'm sure you'll assist Mr. Garone with any questions he might have. So I'd just like to thank you for spearheading this operation. Thank you.
Not a problem. If y'all have any questions, I can give you all the detail.
Thank you, Mr. Cleveland.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cleveland. Mrs. Reed, do you wish to serve again on this board?
Yes, I mean, absolutely, I have no problem doing it. I think the only reason that I was last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Stubbs, since you were here, and she was because I was the president, but I don't mind continuing that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, hopefully you never have to meet,
Okay.
but,
I just want to take something if it wasn't supposed to be. That's all.
I think-
Fine. Okay, as long as that's okay.
Okay, so I believe then you will be making a motion to approve Mr. Garone, Mrs. Reed, myself, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Shoke. No, I messed
You
it
did,
up.
no, that was good. That was good that time.
I'll second.
Who was the first? Mr. Stubbs. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I am done with what I had on my agenda. I'm going to turn the meeting over to our new board president, Mr. Raymert, in case there's any other business that you wish to conduct tonight.
Maybe we should go back and redirect to you being. Okay, with that, then, I guess there's no new business, so I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.